One of the challenges that Carolyn and I have run into that was a big point of our life was the birth of our twins. We had our son first. 2 years later, Carolyn was pregnant with twins. And because of complications, they were born 3 months premature. And one of them, Katie, was born with cerebral palsy because of that. And it was just an extremely tough time in our life. I have a picture of the twins when they came home. They weighed 4 pounds, and granted we didn't put them both into the child seat, but it wanted to show you how little they actually were. Even though we had insurance, you get bills from the hospital where they decide that they're not going to cover a certain charge, and that bill might be $40,000, $50,000.
I literally would write a check and I would intentionally forget to sign my name, so they'd have to come back to me, but I had made effort to pay it, you know, at least I thought that would be what they would think. And it would come back, but in the meantime something, you know, cleared in the bank, so I was able to pay that bill now. And you know, you just do what you have to do, and we did. And
what better family to be born into, right? I mean, between her degree and us having the gym and our awareness of, you know, of physical fitness and nutrition and empowering her. And she's 19 years old now and off to college and brilliant and just a special human being. You know, it's not always easy. Sometimes you run into things in your life and you just got to pick yourself up, and being a team and having a dream together and knowing where we want to go, that was just a big part of that. I'm Paul Fetters.
And I'm Carolyn Fetters.
And we own the training spot in Huntington Beach, California. The way I got started as a trainer out of Gold's Gym in Venice was in the gym. That if I saw someone struggling, I would say, hey, maybe you should do this and help yourself. And there was this gal, and she goes, you know what, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. And she says, can you help me? And I said, well, I'll be happy to help you when I'm here, but I've got a job and I barely have time for my own training. She goes, well, how about if I give you $40 to come in? I'm like, when would you like me here? And she was a client for 9 years. When I got 3 clients, I was making more money than my 40-hour-a-week job, and I realized early on that that's where I'm happiest, in the gym.
Yeah, I worked at the coffee shop when I was at UCLA, and I was a rower. I rowed crew. And Paul was a consistent customer, and so he started talking to me and he offered to train me one day. So I ended up training with him, and he said, I know you'll be thinking about me for the next few days. And I went, what's that all about? And sure enough, I couldn't walk for the next few days, so I really understood what he meant after that.
I think it was in 1991 when we started having kids, but then we had 3 kids already, and we knew that we needed to move to Orange County, where Carolyn grew up, because the school system was better. So we made that move. And so for 5 years, I drove back and forth to Gold's Gym from Huntington Beach. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall around that time when the gyms were charging a monthly for the trainers to work out of there. And then once the owners started to see how much money the trainers were making, then they started to get a little bit greedy. So I knew it was coming, so I started buying equipment. I put it in storage. So sure enough, the gym owner comes to me and he says, starting Monday, you don't get to train here anymore, but I'll take care of your clients for you. I'll buy your clients for you, whatever. I went home, I said, here's that day. So over the weekend, we literally stripped our garage to the studs. I put in a window in the back. I put a vent in the roof. We got some rubber mats that somebody was throwing away. I remember I stuck it in the back of my truck and rolled that out, brought the equipment out of storage. And Monday, all my clients, I said, come to my house. And it was a blessing. They loved it. And I got to see my kids go to school, and it was a great little gym.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
We did that for about 5 years.
Yeah, 5 solid years until we outgrew our neighborhood and our garage.
Growing up in the gym, well, like you said, started in the garage. We have clients to this day who have seen me leave for 4th grade, you know. My dad pulls my bike out of the garage, sits it there, and all the clients, you know, wave me off. But it's been a cool experience, you know.
When we were little kids in elementary school, the bus stop would be right outside our house. So every morning we'd walk out to the bus stop and like say goodbye to our dad for like our school day. And it's just kind of funny, like seeing our clients training, and then sometimes they would do our hair because my mom couldn't do a French braid or something like that. So we kind of grew like pretty personal relationships with some of the clients, and it was just pretty funny.
So we went from a 400 square foot garage to a 1,200 square foot, which was still small, but it felt fabulous. 10 years later, we took the space next door and we went from 1,200 square feet to 3,000 square feet. Although before that 10 years came up, we opened up a second gym that we've had now for 5 years. So it's just been this progress that's been fabulous, and each level has brought us more success. And at the base of it is how we deal with our people, and when they come into us, and how we embrace them as a family, and they feel like it's a family, and we just really take care of the people. The business has evolved from the VIP program, which, by the way, it wasn't just the VIP program. I did the black card, talking about jumping in with both feet, because I wanted to just really find out, once I trusted you, once I realized how legit you are and how great these programs are, I couldn't get enough. And I can't make this stuff up. That was my biggest complaint of my industry. No matter what marketing program I tried before, I didn't know how to apply it to fitness. Mm-hmm. And so I would brag about NPE, saying we've never had this in our industry before. So to not take advantage of that was silly. To not, you know, I didn't want to recreate the wheel. That's not something I was interested in. So the information was just brilliant, and the letters.
The direction has really been invaluable for us, because we were just kind of winging it all the time, but we were doing all right. Everything was working out okay. Our bills were getting paid, and everything was going okay. But now we really feel like we know what we're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. It's really, really a great feeling to feel like you know what the next step is all the time.
First thing you have to understand is, now that we know all our numbers, we didn't realize how little we were keeping track. Like, I knew I had a lot of customers. There was a day where I knew every single one, and then somewhere in there I lost track. So in the beginning, back in January, when it was like, okay, let's get track of our numbers, within 8 months we went from 200 personal training clients to 305 now. We went from, I mean, like I said, we were successful before. We would gross about $500,000 last couple years. This year we will gross 900,000, probably close to $1 million. I mean, that's just, I mean, who does that in an 8-month span of time, or in a year in this economy? But it just shows you that's what those tools did. So our roles have evolved this year dramatically as well, where we had, Carolyn was in one gym most of the time, I was in the other. There were 3 trainers, so there were 5 of us total, and we were, you know, working a lot. First thing we did, we hired an admin. We brought another trainer in. So anyway, let's go to right now. Carolyn's no longer training people. Matter of fact, she's out of the gym, because she used to always say to me, "I didn't sign up to run one of your gyms," you know. So we got a manager over there, which is great. Both gyms have admins. We have more staff. There's 11 of us now, and it's running smoothly, and everyone has their place. And I don't train people anymore. Matter of fact, almost the minute I joined up for the VIP program, and that was one of the aspects that I really got, is about getting out of the day-to-day of the training people to free myself up for these programs. And I mean, there were so many programs I wanted to dive into that the incentive was there. It's like, okay, I got to do this, because I can't wait to dive into these programs and help us grow. So that's what I did. So immediately I got out of that, and I went from doing that full-time for 27 years to not doing it at all.
You have to remove your ego. Like, I know when Paul stopped training clients, there was a little bit of withdrawal for you, because well, not only is it your ego, but you care about those people ideally, that you want to make sure that the next trainer is going to take just as good a care of them as you have been, and you know, you're not quite sure if they're going to be able to do the same stellar job that you did. And I think stepping out of that allowing yourself to take care of your business and having that person being taken care of by a trainer that obviously you must think is a good enough trainer that you hired them. I think that's super important, because if not, you know, how else are you going to grow? You'll just never grow training clients day in and day out. You have to step back.
Define what it is that you want to do in this business. Understand what your role is, and follow through with that. Don't get caught up in trying to do a lot of the little things. Oversee it, set it up so that it runs smoothly, and not try to recreate the wheel. I mean, NPE was a win-win for us.